Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is I am redeemed.
Recovery.
Recovery.
Yeah.
The influence of substance abuse in the lives of Miss Tawana Murray. And of course we have Miss Tawana Murray to talk about I am recovery. And getting away from substance and drug abuse. Mm-hmm. And Miss Murray, let me tell you how delighted we are to have you here because I think that the topic that we're talking about has quite a bit to do with what is going on in society today. Mm-hmm. And what we want you to do is to give us some information about your background, your education, and some of your experiences, and then we'll get into your recovery. Let's talk about it from that perspective.
Okay. My name is Tawana Murray. I'm from Shelbyville, Tennessee, and I grew up there as a child. At the age of 18, I moved out of town to go do some modeling. But during school, I did all the academics, cheerleading, homecoming, basketball, and all those things. By that time, I found out that I had done it all. So I was searching for something else. Mm-hmm. So I made a wrong turn to the other side of town where drug abuse was present. Mm-hmm. And then about a month later, I realized that that wasn't the life I wanted. Mm-hmm. But I already had addictive behavior. Mm-hmm. So I got into that struggle, and I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, to a treatment center to try and pursue a way out of it. And I would go up and back down, up and down. And finally, I realized that it was real, that it wasn't something that I could fight on myself. So I had to begin searching for a way out, and that became going to being in treatment. Mm-hmm. But I realized also that treatment it was just a holding cell for me to get instructions, and I had to find out how to live life on life's terms, and that is from the absence of drugs itself. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so in a real sense, you met drug abuse at 18 years of age?
At 18 years of age, I tried it. And yes, sir. Uh-huh. And I left there, and then it became a recreational thing. We just did it on recreations. Then it became using when you were happy, when you were sad, when you were mad, when you were glad. Mm-hmm. So I stopped, and then at the age of 26, it became just a little bit more familiar. And I battled it for 26, and then I moved here I moved to a treatment center here in Nashville, and I got some education information on it, but I didn't follow through with it. That was just it. I didn't do everything that I needed to do.
Well, you know, when you talk about your introduction to drugs and substance abuse, did you meet drugs and substance abuse the same way that most people generally? Why don't you give us some ideas in terms of how young people generally become involved in dealing with drugs and some of the reasons for their involvement?
As I say, it was me and some of my friends. How it began with us is it was just recreational. We were just out, and we decided we went out of town somewhere, and it was present. So we all tried it, and we managed to maintain that day. But at the same time, everybody's behavior is not the same. So I had addictive behavior in that situation. So I mean, I fought to get out of it. And I could say I would use, and I would, and I would, and I would, and I would, and I would. And I knew then that it was a force that was beyond something that I could control. And then after the first time that I went to treatment, when I came back out and I fell again, my thought was, this is the way my life is going to be, because I wasn't educated on it until I went and found what the circumstances are, how your brain level works, and all the things that go into it. But it's easy to fall into because it was like doing what my peers done, and that's how a lot of people fall into substance abuse, is by your peers. Family members sometimes will just say, here you go. Like some of them say, well, here, go like this for me. You go light it, and then you're addicted to it. It becomes in your system, and that's a craving that you desire to have.
Would it be something comparable to tobacco addiction or anything like that? It's much stronger than tobacco addiction to deal with drugs.
No, I would say tobacco addiction is an addiction too. As I say, that's why I say I am recovering from a lot of things. Tobacco is too, but the thing for the drugs, it enters into your mind, it alters your mind. And when your mind is altered, it seems like there's no fight. So you have to do what it does to have abstinence from that.
And so from what I understand, you've got a program. You've been working for the longest in terms of creating a program of study in a real sense to deal with individuals who happen to have had the same situation that you're now faced with. And so what we're going to do, we're going to take our first commercial break. Okay. And then we're going to come back and we're going to devote the next 8 minutes to you talking about the program that you have and how you think that this program might be able to help other individuals who might find themselves in the same situation that you're in, and even if it's the kind of program you think that it can be more widely used.
Yes, sir.
You see, this is what we want you to talk about, because I think that you indicated earlier that you had a program that you've been trying to deal with, and that you think that you need more support.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think that if you give us the kind of information that our audience is looking for this morning, you might be able to find more support for that. And so what we're going to do, we're going to take our first commercial break, and then we're going to come back, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. But that's essentially, so we're going to give you an opportunity to talk about your program.
Okay.
And whatever you think that you've been trying to push it with other folks, push it with me today. Okay. You see, and then after that, we'll have 10 minutes. And then we'll determine what else we want to talk about in relation to what we've already said. Okay. But I think the information that you gave me, I appreciate that.
No problem, sir.
Thank you. I think I feel a little better now. And so you've got 8 minutes. I'll just to Wanda Murray.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I am
Recovery.
Okay, and substance and drug and substance abuse. That's the colon I put behind it. And you've got a program that's called I Am Recovery.
Yes, sir.
And so that's what I want to talk about during this 8-minute segment, in terms of how that program came to you and et cetera, and how you feel that you can help other folks, and some examples of what you've already been able to do. In other words, this is your opportunity to sell.
To sell, yes,
sell this program.
Yes, sir.
If you got something to sell, then this is time, especially since nobody's here but you.
Okay.
And this is your program, okay? I Am Recovery. It'll be all right. Thank you and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. We're talking to Ms. Tawana Murray, and she's the author of a program called I Am Recovery, Drug and Substance Abuse, and she's got a lot of information in reference to the challenges that young people and most people have in terms of dealing with drug and substance abuse. And Ms. Murray, let's give you an opportunity to talk about the program that you have, I Am Recovery, and to give us some idea as to how it's structured and how folks might be able to buy into the kind of program that you have.
Okay. The I Am Recovery program come about because through my life I had some struggles. I placed my kids with my mom. I gave up on everything that I had. I would work sometimes, try to go to college, up and down battles. And within that, I was hiding within myself. And I knew that there had to be a way to find somewhere to find a way out. Most people look down on people in recovery, but you know, if you don't know what it is, then you won't know how to structure the thing itself. So I would take information. I went to several treatment centers, and as I say, I had to realize it was a safety net for me, because I didn't feel confident enough in myself, so I went inside to grab a hold to what I needed to do. I ended up going. I've been to jail. You know, I went in there and I'm like, God, you got to show me what to do. How can I do this? So I began studying and reading and studying. But also when I came out, I realized that I had to go to one place for one thing, one place to another thing. I wasn't dealing with my inner self. I wasn't, you know, they had put me on medication. All those things, you go from one spot to the other, and it was just like it was caving me in. I was wanting to throw the towel in. So I began to put different things together as I went to different places, got different information. I networked the information together. So in last November, I got down with myself, and I wrote the program I Am Recovery. I Am Recovery entails different aspects of how to recover: self-worth, self-esteem, your boundaries, journaling, codependency, let's see, just different aspects of how to get back to within yourself. Also, you have to have somebody to be accountable to, someone that you can call. Like say in recovery, they say have a sponsor. If it's not a sponsor, let it be a friend. Let someone know when you're feeling bad. You know, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Those things cause you to downfall. But I have to check myself daily, even today, to know that recovery is real. It's real, but it's also doable. It's doable. It's just a way out of it. So the curriculum, it's a curriculum, and it has, like I said, we do the step studies. We do spirituality. It entails inventorying yourself, self-worth, like I say, self-esteem, how to learn to love yourself. That's the main thing. Your family, because like I said, my family was where I didn't think, I thought if I was out of their lives that it would be fixed. No, I destroyed them because I wasn't in their lives. So with my absence, that left my responsibilities on my mother. But by the grace of God, we made it through that. Today, as I say, I'm well, I'm whole. I do a recovery meeting at one of the institutions here, which works. I'm able to share about that. But like I say, without someone behind you, without somebody showing you or leading you or believing in you. But first of all, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that the program works, because it does. AA, I'll give it all the credit in the world. The treatment centers, they're good, but you can't stay in there forever. So you have to find a way to grab a hold. And by grabbing a hold, what I done was I put this program together, and I believe it works because it's all the things that have kept me clean and sober today.
And so in a real sense, you're using your life as an example of an individual who has had some real substance abuse problems. But I would imagine that one of the most important considerations is to admit that you've had the problem, or that you have the problem. How does that come about in terms of an individual?
Really, they say you have to hit rock bottom before you know that it's real. 70% of the people have to go that way. Some people make it out, but at the same time, you have to admit that there's something wrong. You can't fix it. If something's not broken, you won't fix it. When I realized, because I'd go to college, I'd drop out, I'd work, I'd stop. You know, just all the things that were up and down battles let me know that that's not how stable people live. You know, you can look around within yourself and within your family and see the structure. And like I say, destruction comes when you're not whole within yourself. But the main thing is asking for help. And when you ask for help, there are all kind of, that's why I moved to Nashville. Nashville has plenty of opportunities. There are so many people, so many entities that are willing to bring people up. Even from, homelessness, you know, all of those things fall into that. Most of the things that happen with drug addiction usually comes from another situation happening, and then it all falls into place. You're homeless, so you give up. You don't have a job, so you give up. You need medication, you can't afford it, so you give up. All of these things. But the major structure is, I love Nashville because Nashville provides those opportunities, but you got to be willing to go out there and find them and ask for help.
And so it's an individual's desire that in a real sense helps to overcome addiction, and anything else that is added to it is simply a supplement to the individual desire. And so if an individual does not wish to be clean, they cannot be clean. No matter what they say, and they've got to have a psychological. Are you saying that they have to have a psychological understanding, and that this is what I have to do, and be able to stick to that? Is that it?
That's exactly it. You have to have a psychological change. And I used to say, "Oh Lord, I want to change. I want to change. Help me change. Help me change." The change was there, but I had to follow through with it. Every time that I went back into substance abuse, it wasn't because the change wasn't there. It was because I was changing what I was doing. As long as I followed through on the path of what I needed to do, then it works. That's why they say it works if you work it, and that's the honest truth. But you can't work it unless you fix the problem, and that is within yourself. I tried it for my kids, for my parents, for my friends, for the church. None of that worked until I got me fixed. But you can't help anyone until you help yourself.
And so it's an individual decision that has to be made, and I would imagine that that's like anything else. Whether you're dealing with the ability to try to achieve or whatever it is, it has to first come from a decision.